Hey guys, Toast here. So I recently started playing Iron Throne. I'm getting set up here in Kingdom 53 in Iron Throne. So if you want to give it a try, there's a link in the description. You can come over, come join me in Kingdom 53. Shoot me a message and I can give you some help along the way as well. I set up a Discord if you want to get hold of me there or send me a message on YouTube or whatever. But anyways, I just kind of want to go over the things that I've learned, how it's similar to King of Avalon, how it's different than King of Avalon. So one of the things that took me by a little bit of surprise at first is that your food will actually go all the way down to zero. So there's not like a safe point like you have with King of Avalon where you won't go below your storehouse limit. So just keep that in mind when you're opening up food to make sure that you're going to spend it, because otherwise it will just get eaten. There's no penalty once you're at zero food. It's just you don't keep it. Like your troops don't die or anything like that. It's just you have zero food. Then you have your four troops. This is similar to King of Avalon where you have infantry, bowmen, cav, and siege. But one of the things here is that there's it's rock paper scissors setup instead of they kind of have their designated role. So in here, your cav will beat bowman, your bowman will beat infantry, and your infantry will beat cav. So they all have their purpose, and it's not, your infantry aren't just meat shields for your bowmen, and your cav just aren't these suicidal little idiots that will get some kills along the way. So yeah, there's a little more potential for strategy. I still would not consider myself an expert on how combat works here at all. There's a lot I need to learn. Which one of those things that I did learn is, so if you go here, your heroes are basically your gear here, and then your heroes have gear on top of it. So one thing that you're going to want to do once you get a few heroes is you're going to want to appoint a strong hero as your guard captain. Your guard captain, think of this as like having your dragon home. If you don't have a guard captain, then if you get hit in your castle, you don't have any stats outside of what you research. So it's really important to have a strong guard captain appointed. And eventually you can unlock having more of these, which presumably will boost your stats more. And then you also have these other things that you're going to appoint your heroes to. If they're appointed to something, then you can't use them to kill monsters or their version of barbarian caps. So you might unappoint them for a little bit and then appoint them back. But so just make sure that you have things set where you need to. Because you'll see here, this reduces construction by % as well as a flat amount. Your scholar will do the same for research. Your treasurer will increase your production and gathering. Your drill sergeant will increase your troop training. Your infirmary will increase your hospitals, and your craftsman will increase your forge. And again, your forge is more important here because you're going to be crafting a lot of gear for your heroes and then upgrading it. So just keep that in mind. Then if we look at the world map, it's similar in that you're going to have monsters, you're going to have these strongholds. These are basically your barbarians. And then you have your tiles that you're going to gather from. But one thing that makes this a lot nicer than King of Avalon is your search here. So you can search for tiles. And also you can see that there's these historic sites. So you can gather 4 gold. So if you're a free player and you're really scrounging for gold, I mean, it's only 10 gold on this level 1 mine. But, it's an option where if you want the gold instead of something else, you can at least gather it and collect some gold along the way. Just since I have some, and then stamina here is called AP. So I have some AP right now, so I'm going to attack this guy here. And then we'll go back to the city. So they also have this, I think they call it Dimensional Rift, Dimensional Battle, and this is actually something I like a lot. So we'll kind of go through the tutorial here. I don't care about the story. But basically, whatever tier of troops you've unlocked, you're going to have those available to use. And then you're also going to have your heroes here as well. And your heroes all have spells that you're going to want to use. So we're going to deploy these heroes because I've leveled them up a little bit. Then we're going to set our formation. So we'll put some infantry in front. We'll put some bowmen back here. We'll put a siege here. We'll put a couple cav in the middle. And then put another bowman. So then we'll march. Then it'll auto fight against whatever you're doing. And then you have spells like this guy's going to kind of grapple hook, pull everything into him. And then my guys are fairly strong for a level 1 fight, so they're just kind of steamrolling everything. So as you get further along, this will get obviously more difficult. But I think it's kind of fun. It's something to do. This will basically be something that you'll do every day because this is going to get you materials that you're going to use to upgrade your heroes. Put another one of those and some more of these. But it's a fun thing to do, and like Merlin Trials, this is eventually just going to be a stat check. Just I think this is a little more fun because there is some strategy that you can apply to it. How you use your skills will give you a chance, and then you want to try and get 3 stars by not losing too many troops, so you get better rewards. But it's a fun little thing that you'll get to do. They also have a couple events that I think are nice ideas. Something that I definitely think King of Avalon should probably look into copying and bringing basically their own versions of this in place. They're not on right now, but basically I think in 2.5 hours you'll be able to do the Battle Royal. And the Battle Royal is a statless event. So everyone goes into it, you have the same troops, you have the same stats. You can see everyone just gets some tier 1 troops, and there's no stats. So, whether you're a freebie, whether you're a big whale, whether you're a medium spender, everyone's on equal footing, and this just comes down to, a little bit of luck and a little bit of strategy. So I think this is a great idea because this means that you always have something that you can do. You have something that you can have fun with. It doesn't matter how much you spend or how much you little spend, unlike King of Avalon, where basically every event is either a gather event where who cares, or it's an event where whoever spent the most amount of money wins. There is the other event. Oops, I meant to look at that. There's the team deathmatch. And think of this as kind of like Nether War a little bit, except instead of it being your alliance that's matched together, it's just going to be 20 random people versus 20 other random people. So this means you don't have the problem where, like with Nether War, if you all don't play basically in the same time zone, where some people are going to miss out just because you can't, someone can't get on at 9 a.m. on a Friday afternoon to play. So you can just kind of, when this opens up, if you can join, you can join. If you can't join, then it's basically it'll come back around. So you're not really, you don't feel punished, and especially you don't feel like you're punishing your alliance mates for, living in a different country. It just makes it feel like you're always bouncing, pissing off one group or another. So I like these 2 events. I think they're fun. I think they're good ideas. The team deathmatch as well. You're going to be given a certain amount of troops, but you will, I do believe your stats are coming over for here, but your troops are provided. So everyone's starting with the same troops. So again, I think that's nice because you don't have those people with, 1 billion troops that you can't do anything with, even if you had better stats, just because you can't break that. So it gives things a little more balance. So I think that's nice. And then one thing that they're currently kind of tweaking around with is your wall is much less durable than in King of Avalon. Right now they've buffed it up a little bit, but a couple days ago, the account I was basically learning to play on got hit because I didn't shield when I went to bed. And basically I took 3 hits, and I was probably like a level 14, 13 stronghold. And it was 3 hits, and my wall was burnt down, and I got ported out. So the nice thing is that means that the guy couldn't, drain all of the resources I had open. And then that also kind of conversely means that the game isn't expecting you to have a farm. Whereas King of Avalon, you are basically required to run 2 farms or you're running behind, and you really need 4 farms if you're pushing for anything above SH30 to keep up with all the resource needs. You can see here there's that little water thing. That's going to give me silver. So you're not expected at farm. There's no goods exchange where you're trading from your farm over to your main. So I think the fact that you're basically only expected to play one account is a nice relaxation. You don't have to manage everything. You don't have to spend so much time. But that's just my opinion. I know that there's a lot of people that like farming or whatever. But for me, I like playing the combat games for combat. And to me, I see just initially, obviously, I'm a low level. I haven't experienced, high-end play. I'm a nobody, so it's not like I'm getting bullied at this point or anything like that. So I'll figure out kind of more of that as I go along. But at least early on, I see that it does, and it doesn't try to be quite so spend heavy as King of Avalon, although all these games are always ultimately pay to win, so it's certainly not avoiding of that. But I just don't think it's quite as harsh as King of Avalon, especially what King of Avalon has gotten to over the last 6 or so months. Then they also have this little RPG thing. I don't like this at all, but it's something you're going to have to do in order to get basically your rewards. Let's kind of pop in here so you guys can see, but basically you're going to get a little soldier, you're going to do some quest, and there's some story that's involved. Overall, I find this just exceptionally boring, because there's nothing, it's just tedious to me. As you can see, there's just a lot of clicking, a lot of clicking, a lot of clicking. Then you can see combat, there's nothing really going on here. You slap it a couple times, now it's dead. Now we run over to this one, we slap it a couple times, now it's dead. But it is going to be important to do, because if you see here, if you get 100 points within here, you're going to get these 3 buffs put on you. So in order to get these 3 buffs, you have to come in here and do it every day. So it is important to do this, just I don't find it a lot of fun. The nice thing though is after you get through all the epic quest, you can basically spend resources to finish your daily quest. So if you don't like it like me, you can basically say, do I want to spend resources to get these buffs or not? Or you can spend however long it takes you to get them. So at least there is that option for people who don't like it. And I assume that there probably are some people who like the little distraction. Personally, for me, it's not there. A couple other things that I do like about it is, I think it was under special. So you can see here for $1, you can get a 7-day shield. So if you do want to sit there and bubble up, $1, 1 day, you've got a week-long shield. You don't have to worry about being attacked. Another thing is that shields, there's basically 2 kinds of shields. This normal shield, the king, I think I have to go to the world. So there's this one. So if you're the king, you can spend 50,000 gold and you can basically pop someone's shield. So I think this is good for, I think every kingdom has that troll who sits under a bubble for, weeks or months or whatever. So you can basically use this if you're king, or if your alliance is king. I'm not fully certain how that works. And you can then take off their shield basically. Then there is basically like a second tier of shield that you can get where if you are worried about that. And I'm certain some of you are kind of worried, oh, the king's going to pop my shield. But I think that gold cost is reasonably high. And there's a week-long cooldown on it, so they have to be selective in who they're using it on. So I think it gives a nice tool to be able to handle with trolls. And obviously, sometimes your king is just an asshole, and there's not much you can do about that. But if you're in a decent kingdom and you have a decent king, then it's not something you need to worry about. It's just a tool to deal with trolls, and I think that's a nice thing to have. And then the other thing is basically there's always some kind of event going on every hour. So like right now, killing monsters will give you points. So it's just a monster hunt event right now. And then there's a soul event and inferno event, which is they're the same thing, just the inferno event has higher criteria for getting the rewards. And then they both have points if you're one of the top 100 during that time period, as long as you get whatever the minimum threshold here is. So you can see the minimum threshold is above the 180,000 you have to get. So if you get above, then you start ranking with the other people and you can get some extra rewards on top of that. And you can check the schedule so you can see whatever's coming up next. So right now it's kill monsters, and then it's going to be troops killed and troops trained. And then you can see here there's going to be a super in a couple hours, which will just give you extra rewards. So there's kind of always something going on that you can do, and you're not feeling like you're. So it's not feeling like you always have to wait, every 2 weeks to do something. Like with King of Avalon, you're kind of always waiting for gold event to do any big upgrades. Otherwise, it feels like you're wasting the potential to get the extra rewards for finishing top whatever. So it's just something to know, something to keep an eye on. But overall, that's kind of my quick thoughts. We can see here I'm going to get some gold now. So let's see if I add a little bit of gold to my account. But otherwise, you have your quests like King of Avalon, where it just kind of directs you what to do, and you get some bonus rewards when you do your things for the first time. Before you collect those rewards, you're going to want to have a Lord boost on. So you can check this shop here. You can buy a 10% Lord XP boost here for 6 or 24 hours. And then once your alliance gets kind of leveled up, you also can buy a better one here. You can buy 24%, but you can see it costs 400,000 points, and it'll take you a little while to get 400,000 points. And this also reminds me that there's... so like if you aren't an R5 or an R4 and you wanted this Lord XP, you see how there's a 1-star on it? So this basically means someone's requested it. So in this case, I've requested it. So if your R4s or R5s are kind of scrolling through, they can see, oh, people want this item, so I can stock that. So it's just nice to have something instead of relying on just people saying it in Alliance chat. So overall, I'm having at least a little bit more fun with it, at least early on. There's still a lot for me to learn. I think that I really like that they have that statless event, so that way kind of everyone can compete. And then I really like the dimensional battle. And then you also have duels that go with dimensional battle, where this is just you're playing against another player instead of, just playing against yourself or playing against the computer. So I think both of those things are the statless arena and the dimensional battle. I think those are really fun things to do. So that's kind of my quick how things are different. And then maybe I just didn't put enough importance that your heroes are really... Your heroes, you really have to think of your heroes as your gear. So whatever they're equipped with is going to reflect, what your stats are. And then as you do that Royal Arena, or not that Royal Arena, sorry, I was thinking of King of Avalon. So as you do that dimensional lift, you're going to get these upgrade materials that you're going to use to upgrade your heroes to make them stronger. So here, we'll upgrade her. And as you upgrade her, then that lets you level up your skills more. So you have skills within here, and as you get higher tier, you'll unlock more skills. So your heroes are kind of your biggest most important thing for getting your stats up here. So there's no, there's no gear for my lord like there is in King of Avalon. There's not, 20 different stat sticks. There's not, I don't have to put emblems on my dragon. I don't have to, there's no statues. There does look like there's something similar to banners, but I just haven't got anything up that far yet. I think it's under details. Yeah, so they do seem to have this enhanced mechanic that I think is similar to banners, but I just haven't got anything leveled up that high yet. So as always, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. If you want to come play with me, again, I'm in Kingdom 53 here in Iron Thorne. There'll be a link in the description. You can click on that, and the same as King of Avalon. Once it puts you in, if it doesn't put you in Kingdom 53 by default, just go out here to the world map. Then you'll hit the little thing next to the search. This kind of shows you the map of the whole kingdom. And then the bottom left here, you're going to have all the kingdoms. So you'll see, you'll probably be put in 53 or 54 by default, but just in case you're not in 53, you'll just come in 53. As long as you're less than SH, as long as you haven't gone to SH6 yet, you can just come in here and you'll be able to teleport in. So, thanks for watching. If you want to come play. I set up Alliance. I'm in Alliance WoW. The same as, it's open, so feel free to join. And, we can all learn how the game works together. And if you played before, you can teach me how to play. But I guess that's all I've got for now. All right. Later, guys.